Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank Chairman Rangel for his leadership on
Time is the Speaker requesting?
as much as I may consume.
Gentleman may proceed.
I want to begin by thanking Chairman Rangel for his leadership on behalf of the American people. Every member in the House is elected by the people, and today we're going to find out if members remember who they work for. Before us is H.R. 5749, legislation I introduced because it's time the government works for the people and extends a helping hand to those who need a break. Contrary to what you've just heard, this bill was heard in the committee, was voted on the committee, and 3 members of the Republican Party voted to move it out of the Ways and Means Committee. It was contained in the supplemental bill, and everybody in the House has had an opportunity to vote on it and discuss it. We are repassing it for the second time. Now, this legislation should pass without a single vote against it, and that's why it was put on the supplemental, on the suspension calendar. No member who's read a newspaper or spent any time in a congressional district talking to constituents lately could possibly miss the fact that the economy is in serious trouble, and so are millions of Americans, and it will just keep getting worse until we act. Last Friday, we saw the largest one-month jump in unemployment rate in 22 years. Now, does anyone doubt the gravity of that situation? Across America, the unemployment rate is rising. It's over 7% in Michigan and above 6% in Alaska and a half a dozen other states. 18% of the unemployed in this country have not been able to find a job for at least 6 months. They have exhausted all their benefits, and that's what this bill deals with. Everywhere you look, people are worried about their home and their family and their future, and no one feels safe no matter where they are. The economy has been claimed by the Iraq War. This wasteful, needless war has undermined our economy and put it on a deep, steep downward slide. Devastating energy and food prices have made the American people be up against the wall when businesses are shedding cope. It's been this way for months, and it's time for some relief. The White House has been fighting, and as Mr. Weller says, they've sent down from the administration already a letter saying we're going to veto it. Well, that's the administration. What do you expect out of that place? This bill would provide 13 weeks of extended unemployment benefits to all states where people have exhausted their regular unemployment. It gives another 13 weeks in states where the unemployment rate is above 6%. The usual UI benefit is less than $300 a week. That's poverty-level assistance for a family struggling in an economy when gasoline is $4 a gallon. There is not a congressional district in this country that isn't feeling the effects of this downturn. Every member in this chamber has constituents who need help, and they are the workers we are working for, presumably. This bill is a lifeboat to the American people to stay afloat during increasingly tough economic times. Anybody who votes against this bill is voting against reality. They are denying it. Now, sometimes the American people watch this session out of interest, but today they're watching because there's an urgent need to receive some bill. This issue of the 20 weeks is being held up as the reason why I'm going to vote against it. The Labor Department analyzed the fact that that unduly affects low-wage workers and women because they work part-time. We hear that if you work 2 weeks, you can get a year's benefits. Are you saying that the governor of Illinois or the governor of Michigan or the governor of Pennsylvania is stupid and he's just throwing money out the window? These are qualified by the state-level people. And you can't give me one example of any place. People say, Oregon, if you work 2 weeks in Oregon, you somehow are going to get a year's benefits for 2 weeks. There is no state in the union where that is true. Give me one example. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves